Hi guys, I'm back again today. Today I will be sharing with you the basics for linear graph. Linear graph simply means straight line graph. So I'll be very fast to share with you those basics. It's something that you will never change, guys, and it will help you if you memorize them. It will help you a lot. So let's say we have a Cartesian plane like this, guys. Let's say we have a Cartesian plane like this, and we know that this is y-axis, this is x-axis. So guys, as I said that I'm gonna share with you the basics for straight line graph, which is the linear graph. Let's say we have a paper graph like this, and I remember that the standard form for linear is equals to y is equals to mx plus c. The name of the m is gradient. It shows you where the graph it goes. That's the m. It shows you where the graph it goes. And c stands for the y-intercept. That's where your straight line graph is going to cut y-axis on. From that standard form there, y is equals to mx plus c. So since we have a people graph like this, guys, this people graph, it tells us that the gradient is negative. The reason why the gradient is negative is because the graph it falls in the second and the third quadrant. Remember, in the second we do have the positive and negative coordinates, and in the fourth we still have the negative and positive coordinates, guys. And you know that negative divided by negative is negative divided by positive, sorry, negative divided by positive is negative, and negative multiplied by positive is a negative as well. So that's the reason why we end up having a negative gradient. This because our graph is in the second and the third quadrant, where all our coordinates it goes with negative and positive coordinates. So guys, now when you have a graph like this, we're gonna have a negative m, which is gradient. So when we go to c, as I said, the c is where the graph it cut the y-axis on. So now it cut the y-axis here on that point. So it shows that the c is positive because like now our 0 is here in the middle. This is where our 0 is, guys. This is where our 0 is. So now from this 0 going up is positive numbers, going this side is negative numbers, going down is negative numbers, going the other side is positive numbers. So we know the numbers from 0 going up are all positive, going down is negative, on the right is positive, on the left is negative. So now the people graph it cut the y-axis on positive numbers. So you already know that the c must be positive. If you find a negative c on the coordinate that they gave you, maybe on the exam or in question somewhere, just know that it's wrong. When you have a graph like this, it's wrong because here you are looking for c that you already know that it must be positive, since it's cutting the y-axis on the above numbers, which are the positive numbers. Yeah, I hope guys you heard me. So now let's say we have a yellow graph. It goes like this. The yellow graph goes like this, guys. Now the gradient is positive. It's no longer negative, it's positive because it falls in the first and the third quadrant, which is the first and the third quadrant. The reason for this one, on the first quadrant we have all the positive coordinates. Remember, going on the right hand side is positive numbers, going up is positive numbers. So already in that side we have the positive coordinates. So now when we go down this side on the third, we have the negative numbers. So we both have the negative coordinates, which is the negative numbers. So you know that negative divided by negative is positive. So negative multiplied by negative is positive. So on the first and the third quadrant, the positive is powerful. That's the reason why we end up having positive m, which is gradient of this graph. So now let's focus on the c on that graph. let's focus on the C. The C, the yellow graph, it cut the y-axis in the negative numbers. So it means here it tells us that the negative, the C that we're going to look for is a negative number. So if now they give you some coordinates and you have a graph like this, the yellow one, you know that the C already, the C that I'm looking for is negative. If you're going to find a positive C in a graph looking like the yellow one on the question somewhere where I don't know. So just know that when you're finding a positive C, it means you are wrong, because those basics that I'm giving you now, guys, is something that is permanent. You will never ever change it. So it helps you so much to solve the linear graphs. For you to allocate all the marks for linear graphs, you have to know those basics. Just know first and the third, the gradient is positive. Then when it goes to the second and the fourth, the gradient is negative. So look at your graph where it cut the y-axis on. Is it in the positive numbers or the negative numbers? Then now it gives you a clarity, or okay, the value of C that I'm looking for is whether it's negative or positive. So guys, those basics, they will never change. Whether you go or you stay, they will remain the same. Even if you travel all over the world, you will find them the same. Wherever you go, even when you come back after 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, you will find them the same. It will help you to solve a linear graph in a very complicated situation mixed with parabolic, hyperbola, or anything. But you'll be like, these are the basics for linear graph. Let me just focus on the linear graph. This is what I'm gonna